It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey, honeybees! Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. I'm your host, your feminist life coach, and your resident psychotherapist, Kelly Hint, aka the queen bee of this hive, here to bring you the truth, empowerment, and a little sting when necessary. Now, we are about to embark on a new year. This is episode 52 of season 2. That means it is the last episode of the year. So, today we're going to do something fun, something different. This is a bonus travel episode, I guess. And the title could not be more accurate. Queen Bee in Vegas. Yes, Las Vegas. The land of lights, illusions, indulgence, expectations, and contradictions so thick you could slice them with one of Gordon Ramsay's kitchen knives. And I just returned with insights, deep ones, about women, feminism, aging, visibility, self-worth, cultural conditioning, and the way travel can show you exactly who you've become. So buckle in. We're about to walk the strip together, but with feminist lenses, therapist insight, and badass confidence. Now, trigger warning, I made some unhealthy decisions while in Vegas, and I will be discussing one of them. Actually, I only made one unhealthy decision. So this episode is not for the kiddos. I'm going to label this episode as an explicit one because there's some drug use that is discussed. So if you can handle it, buckle up and here we go. So you may be asking yourself, why Vegas? Why now? Well, let's set the stage. Las Vegas is one of the most gendered landscapes in the United States. Its economy runs partly on curated fantasy, and a lot of that fantasy revolves around women's bodies, beauty, desirability, and performance. The billboards, the shows, the waitstaff uniforms, the nightlife culture. And it's a city that markets womanhood as a spectacle. And that makes it the perfect place to observe how far you've grown. And let me tell you, I've grown a bit from my first experience. I went to Vegas the first time in 2012, and then I went again in February of 2020, and then I went again during the week of Thanksgiving. And back in 2012, Vegas meant something very, very different to me, and I experienced it very, very different. But I'll share that later. Because first, I just want to talk about some of the experiences that I had. And I hope you find this humorous and not off-putting. Ladies, please don't judge me, okay? Okay, so I'm going to procrastinate. I'm avoiding talking about my poor decision because I'm just going to back it up a little bit to try and soften you up a little. So why Vegas? Why did I decide to go to Vegas during Thanksgiving week? Well, free airline tickets, a warm place, and my husband deciding that he wanted to watch The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. That's why. And we did not do Thanksgiving this year. On Thanksgiving Day, we celebrated with my son, his wife, our adopted children, and my son's in-laws the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So my husband and I had the week off, and we're like, what do we do? Okay, well, Monday we will fly to Las Vegas, and Thursday on Thanksgiving we will fly home. So that's what we did. So we got to Vegas Monday morning and we were walking on the strip and we are going in shops here and there and everywhere. And this is where the poor decision making started. We went into a shop. It's not a dispensary because I found out later it's not like real like marijuana that they sell. It's like that, I think the Delta 8 hemp stuff. So the woman at the counter told me that they sell hemp products. And a lot of people, when they go to shows, they take a gummy and it just helps to relax them and they enjoy the show. Okay, cool. So, we bought a couple packs of gummies and went about our day. And we chose to take them. Okay, I influenced my husband to take them at a very bad time. So we will get back to that because we're going to talk about the sphere. Wow. Holy actual goddess. If you haven't been, the sphere is a massive, fully immersive entertainment venue that uses LED technology, 3D sound, and environmental effects like wind and scent to wrap you inside a show. It's like standing inside a giant, high-definition womb of light and sound. And here's what's wild. The sphere shows us what's possible when technology centers experience, not appearance. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You are not there to be watched. You are there to feel. And for some reason, this clicked something feminist inside of me. There's something powerful about stepping into a space where being a woman isn't about being seen. It's about being immersed. A rare gift in Vegas, honestly. I have regrets because, as I'm sure you can put together now, I took a gummy before I went to the sphere, and I wish I hadn't because I spent the first 30 minutes having a panic attack. So I'll get into that in a second. So the first show that I experienced was at the Sphere. We went to see The Wizard of Oz. And let me tell you, seeing The Wizard of Oz as an adult feminist is an entirely different experience. You see the coding, you see the archetypes, you see the subtle and not so subtle messages about femininity. Dorothy is compassion, intuition, courage. Glinda is feminine power wrapped in sparkles. The Wicked Witch is the consequence of female anger being demonized. There's a reason feminist writers love this story. It's a tale of a girl who realizes the power she was seeking was inside her all along. Hell fucking yes, ladies. This is what I'm talking about. This is like the message that I want all of my listeners to have. Every woman listening to this, you don't need to go to Oz to find your power. It is within you. It is inside of you. And if you take gummies, you realize that. Just kidding. No. Anyway, just random relevant fact. The Wizard of Oz has been analyzed in psychological literature for decades as a story of identity development and individuation, especially for girls, because Dorothy's journey has been compared to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, but with a relational, intuitive twist that many psychologists argue is distinctly feminine. So, the moment that you've been waiting for, my fall from grace, my poor decision. So my husband and I decide to go see The Wizard of Oz. We took gummies beforehand, and not only was there THC derived from hemp in these gummies, but I read the package later, there was some mushrooms in there. Okay, now not the psilocybin mushrooms that are like illegal. It was some other kind of mushroom, but it's some sort of legal kind. This woman assured me everything in it was legal. But they did have psychoactive effects. So, my husband and I stayed at the Palazzo in the Venetian. So it was a super easy walk to the Sphere. We were able to walk indoors the whole time. We get to the Sphere and we're standing in line waiting to go in, and my face starts feeling funny. And I said to my husband, "Oh, I think the gummies are kicking in." And it was all okay because everything was just very mellow and calm, and I was very relaxed. And then we walked into the actual Sphere to take our seats. These seats are pitched almost straight down because we're not rich people, so we didn't spring for the sections closer down to the floor. We were about 5 rows from the last row in section 400. It was terrifying. So my gummies really start kicking in at that point. And I looked at my husband. I said, "I can't do this. I can't walk down there. It's like straight down." And he's like, "You've just start walking. Hold on to the rail." So I'm holding onto the rail for dear life, gripping it as if I'm about to topple over and fall into the abyss. And there were gaps in the rail, and I would not take a step without holding onto the rail. So it was quite comical. I wish that somebody had taken a video of this because it was probably pretty funny. And then we get to the seats, and of course, there's no railings like when you're like getting into your seat. So if there's somebody sitting there, they have to get up and you have to somehow get around them in a very, 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 very narrow space. So we got there early. So we were seated. I didn't have to walk around anyone. Thank the Lord above, because I probably just would have gone home. So we get seated, and here's the thing that you need to know. If you have issues with vertigo or motion sickness or anything like that, you are in for a very bad time. Because even if I had not taken gummies, it would have been stressful for me because I don't like, I'm okay with heights, but it has to be secure. Like I can walk a plank if there's a railing to hold on to, right? But don't ask me to just walk a plank, I'll fall. So we're sitting down and there's like this optical illusion. I don't know how to describe it without you seeing me. So I apologize. This is not going to do it justice. It's almost like you're looking into a tube, but you're not. It's like optical illusions from the walls, the way the lighting and the walls were. And so like looking down I was very, very dizzy. And so I started panicking and I kept saying to my husband, I have to go. I can't do this. I have to go. And he's like, "Honey, we can't leave. We paid for these tickets. We have to stay." And I am freaking out. And then the people started coming in and I had to stand up and let people by me without toppling into the abyss. So it was a challenge and I was freaking out and my heart was racing and I looked like a crazy person because I could not stand up like a normal person. I had to like grip the seat and turn around and grab onto the back of the seat. And like, I was like praying to every god in the sky that I wouldn't die. So then finally we get seated and people stop coming in and I'm still panicking. And my husband says to me, "Okay, this is kind of trippy. Now, I will tell you, he says that he did not experience really any effects of the gummies whatsoever. He said it was like nothing for him. But it was, in his words, trippy to look down and have that like weird experience. So I would recommend, if you have any issues with like heights or motion or vertigo, anything like that, spring for the 100 and 200 seats. You will not have a horrible time like I did. We were just up way too far and the pitch was way too much for us. So my husband's like, yeah, this is trippy, isn't it? It's kind of hard to look down. And I'm like, I know. And he said, so let's just look at each other. And so we started staring at each other to try and avoid feeling like we were going to vomit. And then we started laughing. And then I couldn't stop laughing because gummies. And then finally the show started. And I will tell you that for like the first half hour of my experience, I was having a panic attack that I was controlling. So in that moment, I had wanted to leave, but I said, no, this is not who I am. I push through adversity. I persevere. And so I said, girl, you are a fucking therapist. Handle your shit. What would you tell one of your patients? So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go through a panic attack protocol. And I did, and it was fine. I ended up being okay. It all passed. So there you have it. That's my poor decision. But let me tell you, I want to go back so badly and experience this without taking gummies. That was just a very, very poor decision on my part. I want to experience it, and I would spring for the seats in the 200s. Let me tell you, I will never go to that place and sit up that high ever again. But it was the coolest freaking thing ever. The scene in the beginning where there's the tornado, like the seats vibrate, there's wind all around you, there's leaves blowing. At one point, there's when Dorothy is where I think she was like eating an apple or something like that. Like, okay, I don't want to ruin this for people, so I'm not going to tell all the stories. I highly recommend, if you have the means and the ability to go see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, do it. It's awesome. So no regrets there other than the gummy experience. The next show that I saw was Potted Potter. It's kind of like a goofy humor. I think what they say is like they do a reading of all the Harry Potter books in 70 minutes. So yeah, it was kind of goofy, whatever. It wasn't my favorite. Kids probably would have liked it a little bit more than I did, because I'm not into like goofy comedy. I'm into like funny, and this was just a little silly for me. But fun fact, I can't not say something like this, being who I am. Studies in social psychology show that humor reduces stress hormones, lowers defensiveness, and makes people more receptive to new ideas, which means comedy can be a stealthy feminist intervention. So, do the comedy shows. I've seen, for comedy shows in the past, I've seen like Matt Rife and Trey Crowder, and very funny. Laughter is fabulous, and I needed it. Given everything that's going on in my personal life, I needed the humor. So, we were able to have a couple of laughs. The Potted Potter show, I can't remember which, was it? No, it wasn't in Harrah's. I can't remember which one it was in. But we only paid like, I think $30 a ticket. So I wasn't too upset at the money spent. Now, my favorite part of Vegas, besides The Wizard of Oz, that would have been better had I made better decisions, was the Art Museum. So the Art Museum was basically an altar to beauty, creativity, and sensory expression. And of course, because this is a feminist show, here's the feminist angle. Women have historically been both muses and excluded from the formal art world. So stepping into a museum that celebrates immersive, emotional, hypersensory art felt like reclaiming a space we've been kept at the edges of. It was amazing. And let me tell you, art heals. Art empowers. Art gives us permission to feel without apologizing. I shared on Facebook on Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching on that Facebook page. I shared the link to the Art Museum. It was stunning. If any of you have seen the Van Gogh exhibit that has been going around the country, it was very similar. But I would encourage you to look that up. The Art Museum, ARTE Museum, Las Vegas. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. That's when I should have done the gummies, to be very honest. But I would also encourage, if you do go to the Art Museum, take your time. I think I rushed through it and I missed some stuff, so that was kind of stinky. All right, so now let me just talk about then versus now. The 2012 version of me versus the 2025 version of me. So we're going to get to this transformation. Vegas in 2012, I was playing a role, performing. I thought my power came from how polished, sexy, pretty, or put together I looked. I thought confidence equals perfection. And like so many women, I'd internalized the belief that visibility meant vulnerability, and vulnerability meant danger. So makeup became armor. Appearance became strategy. And relevant fact, research shows that as early as age 8, girls begin to internalize appearance norms linked to social acceptance and worth. Warning. Las Vegas can activate these internalizations like a slot machine on steroids. When I was in Vegas in 2012, I was so self-conscious. I was self-conscious about my appearance, about my weight. When I saw the scantily clad women walking around, it was misery to me. I was jealous. I was jealous of the beauty of these women. And in my mind, I would make snarky comments about them because of my jealousy, which stemmed from my own insecurity. Now, walking around in Vegas in 2025, whole different vibe. I did not care what I wore. I did not care what I looked like. This may seem so stupid to so many of you, but it was huge for me. Walking the strip without a full face of makeup and dressed to the nines was a revolution. All right, I never dressed to the nines, but I just wasn't as put together as what I usually would be. Color coordinating the outfits, cute bag, cute shoes, all that. Yeah, I didn't do it. And this was big. Walking around Las Vegas, a city literally engineered to visually judge you without a full face of makeup, that is feminist rebellion. Because it challenges perfectionism, performative beauty, the expectation that women must always be on, the idea that value equals appearance. And let me tell you, I was happier. I was not insecure. I was talking with some of the showgirls. It was, and I did not, even though I paled in comparison to their beauty. They were stunning, stunning women with their bodies on full display. And I did not feel insecure about myself at all. Not one single bit. I even joked around a lot with my husband. I'm like, you want Okay, I'm not even going to get into some of those things because I'm going to make this episode way too long if I do. But anyway, let's just say I felt great. Maybe it's because I'm turning 52 and I no longer give one single solitary fucking shit about what people think of me. I just don't. And there's so much freedom in that. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, even though it was only, like 13 years ago? Clearly my transformation began after that. My transformation into a more confident person. And here's a relevant insight. Self-objectification theory. That's a lot of words for me, a lot of syllables. Self-objectification theory shows that women who chronically monitor their appearance experience higher anxiety, lower confidence, and decreased cognitive bandwidth. When you stop performing, ladies, you reclaim your mental real estate. Travel becomes liberation. A city becomes a classroom. Your face becomes your freedom. Let go of the shit. For the love of God, stop worrying about what you look like. Be yourself. And for those of you who have mastered this already, congratulations. I salute you. What an accomplishment. If you've always had it, I'm jealous. But seriously, I cannot tell you how many times I have felt before packing for a vacation, I have to have the perfect outfit. I have to make sure I'm prepared for anything. What if I go to a nice dinner? I've got to look hot. I've got to look beautiful. I need to look this, that, and the other. You know what? No, I don't. I want some comfy damn shoes. I want pants that will expand when I eat too much, and maybe some hair ties to get my hair out of my damn face, right? Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to tell you that I have never experienced a freedom like this. And also maybe it has something to do with the fact recently that I just stopped wearing makeup. I don't know. I'm just feeling really damn liberated, and I want to share my experience. All right. And by the way, this episode was just supposed to be my recommendations of, a couple things to do in Vegas. It was going to be like a quick 15-minute episode to close out this year and prepare for the next year. But of course, I can't leave it at that. I've got to talk, actionable steps, and I've got to talk psychology because that's just what I do. So speaking of, let's talk about actionable steps for your own empowered travel practice. These are some concrete ways that you can weave feminist empowerment into your own travels. So the very first step, the one that I embrace with everything, loosen one appearance rule. Skip the eyeliner. Wear the comfortable shoes. Let your hair air dry. Just one rule. Because freedom compounds. I'm telling you, okay, as someone who has curly hair, I have a ridiculous routine. It's very difficult to maintain, and I go crazy with it. I didn't care. And it was a freedom like I had not known in years. All right. Second step, travel with values intention, not a beauty intention. Instead of, I want good pictures, try, I want to feel present. I want to explore. I want to rest. I want to expand. If you're going on a beach vacation, stop worrying about all the makeup, right? Don't worry about it. Just be you, be present, be there, experience it. Step number 3, observe how different environments affect your self-worth. Ask, what does this city bring out in me? Who am I performing for? Who am I when I stop? Step number 4, take a feminist lens to every experience. The billboards, the shows, the casino staff uniforms, What's being sold? Whose bodies are on display? What do you feel, or where do you feel most powerful? And finally, let travel show you who you have become. It's one of the most honest mirrors we have. And that was my experience comparing it to 2012. I didn't think that I grew so much, and yet I did. I let go of my insecurities. I was walking next to some of the most stunning, scantily clad women ever, and I felt no insecurity. That's huge. I'm very proud of the work that I have done to get rid of all of that patriarchal bullshit that's been shoved down my throat since I was a child. And I hope that you can have some cool, similar experiences in your lives. And, I feel like I'm running this so long, so I apologize. I know I've gone really long, but I know that we can't always travel as much as we want, whether it's time off of work or finances or whatever. One of the secrets for me is I have a credit card that earns airline miles, and I put everything on it, but I pay it off every month so that I don't ever pay interest. I have not paid for an airplane ticket since the early 2000s. So that's why I'm able to fly. And actually, one of the things that I was thinking about doing is some like travel segments or whatever. But I don't know. That's for next year. We're not quite there yet, right? All right, ladies. This trip brought this quote to mind, and it feels perfect for all of us. So this is an unknown quote that I came across at one point, and I don't know who the author is. But the quote is, "A woman who walks in her truth is already more stunning than any illusion she could ever create." Right? This has got to be felt deeply by every liberated woman. And I just encourage you. I encourage you, ladies, think about, what would I do if I wasn't insecure? What would I do if I could just let go? Think about it. And I want to hear about it. Because, ladies, I'm sure you have some really badass ideas. All right, Hive, if this episode resonated, if it sparked something, challenged something, empowered something, or inspired you for some travel of your own, share it with another woman who's rewriting her relationship with beauty, visibility, and self-worth. And of course, join our Facebook group, the Hint Hive Podcast, where we unpack these topics with depth, humor, and sisterhood. I would love to hear some ideas of travel that you guys want to do. Like, what is holding you back? Go to the Facebook group and tell me. And honestly, this was not supposed to be such a long episode, so I apologize for that. I just wanted it to be a quick review, and it turned into something very different. So thank you for making it to the end of the episode, for bearing with me and all of my rambling. Ladies, I took you all with me to Vegas. You were on my mind the whole time. And I want to tell you all, I want to just spread the love out there to my hive. You ladies are fantastic. And as always, my queens, keep walking boldly, keep shedding what was never yours, keep becoming the woman that your past self did not know was possible, because it is fantastic. Until next time, stay loud, stay liberated, and stay unapologetically you. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.